Hello everybody, this is TechHut, and this right here is my multi-monitor setup. In my personal opinion, it is absolutely beautiful. And one of the things that really makes it awesome is these monitor arms that I'm using for this dual monitor setup. They are the Huanuo arms, and I did a video on these a couple months ago going over the installation, how just good they are in terms of range of motion and your potential setup options. The monitors I have on this right now are the Asus ProArt displays. These are at 27 inches, absolutely beautiful monitors. And this setup that I started the video on isn't my normal setup. Usually how I have it, is something like this. And you saw how easy that was to move it around like that with everything plugged in. Now the model I have here is the HNDS7. And what I have here is the HNDS7. I like their products, they liked my video, so they sent me the model up so I could do a dedicated sponsored kind of highlight of this model. And if we take a look here at the comparison chart on Amazon, we're going to be increasing our max extension by about 6 inches, increasing our max height by about 5 inches, and there you could see the max swivel and rotation increases to this model. The HNDS7 does support up to a 35-inch monitor. It doesn't really matter for me, these are 27 inches, and it will support just over 10 more pounds of weight. So with all that said, what I'm going to do is pop this guy open. Now when it comes to form factor and all the installation steps, it's going to be almost identical to how this the last 6th model was, except for there's a couple extra parts and everything's just a little bit bigger. We got our VESA mounts. We got the platform, which is a little larger than the one we currently have there. This one actually comes with USBs. This isn't a feature I really went into in the last one because it didn't include these. But right here, you actually have the option to have 2 USB ports, which is really handy. The 6 model has that as well, but it did not come with those USB ports. They were kind of a separate thing. We got the hardware. We got both of the clamping mechanisms here. That is one difference between these and other brands, is this one has 2 of them. Got a little extra support for you. Got the actual bracket here. We do end up simply screwing this bracket to the base. And then, we've got the arms, or at least the base of the arms, because this right here is the top. And what we're going to do for the rest of this video is actually go through that setup process, and then I'm going to be kind of comparing the range and what the 2 different models can do, so you can make a decent decision on what you're going to want to grab. Because at least as of recording this video, the higher up model that can support bigger monitors, more weight, more range, is about double the price. So now with the help of our manual, I'm going to show you how easy it is to put this thing together. And it's all going to start with our base here. We're going to need to get these 2 pieces here that we're going to mount to the mount and actually use as our clamps. And do that, we have 6 12mm hex bolts. And when you do mount it, it's going to line up perfectly with these 3 screw holes here. So then the actual clamp will be hanging off the back. I got a starter here, just going to put that in and then do the same thing with the second one. And then there we go. It will now look something like this. Now, if you didn't want to use these C-clamps, they actually have this piece right here that you can screw in here that you then can use, drill a hole into your desk, mount this through, and then you'd use these pieces here. But for me, I'm not going to be drilling holes, so we won't be needing these. Now, the thing we didn't get to cover last time is these USBs here. What we basically do is feed it through here and have our USB there. Do that with both of our USBs. Just like so. And then we have this small plastic part right here. We get these smaller 10mm flat bolts, set the plastic onto the USBs, and it's a good idea to start with the middle to kind of get it placed. And then once they're lined up nice, then give it a tighten down. And then of course screw in the 2 remaining screws. So here is our base, and then when we set it on the desk where we want to install it, make sure you feed these cords through the little hole as to not pinch them. And when you have it placed where you're going to want to be, you're going to want to get your C-clamp here and put it through just like this, set it and let it rest. Now I'm going to put this back and make sure my cord is fed through. And actually my desk is pretty thin, so if I loosen it here, I could probably bring it up to the very top, just like so. Rest it there and then tighten it down. And now repeat the process with the other one. So I'm going to take this all the way down, take it all the way as far as I could go, and then tighten it down, just like that. And this thing is not going anywhere. And now probably the easiest part is going to be actually installing the arms. These skinnier pieces here are the first part. This hollow side right here going on the top, all you need to do is push it in and then pop in the other one. And now we need to get our small Allen key here and just tighten these down a little bit. And there we go. And now it's basically going to be the same process for the top here, we get the heavier, larger pieces. This end right here is going to be for a VESA mount, so we get the other end, slide it on in, get our small Allen wrench, give it a tighten, so now you can't accidentally pull it up when you're moving your monitors. Now even just based on this installation, you can see how much taller these arms are than my current monitors. But repeat the process over here, pop this in, tighten down the Allen, and now we're going to want to apply the actual VESA mounts. So then I could get this mount with these holes up because it's going to make installing the monitor really easy. Get this screw here and a washer, set the washer on in, place the screw down, get our Allen and screw until we cannot screw anymore. And now you have yourself your little arm mount guy here. And like most things, this is a dual monitor setup, so we are going to want to repeat the process here. We want to reduce that tension, and then when you actually get the monitors installed, you can adjust the tension and all that to kind of match perfectly with the specific weight of your monitors. Shove this in here, another washer, another screw, and then screw it down till you can't screw no more. Damn it. So there we go. That is how you get at least this portion installed. Now what I'm going to do is put it back over there and actually install these monitors. Now, no matter how easy a process is, if it involves cables, you're gonna have to do some cable management, and that is where these kind of suck to do. Basically on the top arm here, there's a screw right here, which will take this shield off. You can run cords through there. And the last model had a screw as well right here, but the good thing is this makes it a little bit easier because there's just these two little things you need to grab, and then you can kind of wiggle out this plastic part here, and it's so much easier. I just spent the last 10 minutes wrestling all the cords out of the old one. Cable management's simple. I'm not going to do it now. What I'm going to do is install these monitors. Now this is going to vary depending on your actual monitor. For me, the smaller screws here are going to work perfectly fine. You do get some longer ones and some other parts if your monitors do require it. The best thing to do is start off by getting your screws and screwing them in about halfway, giving just enough clearance that you could slot it in right here. So all you'll need to do is simply slide it right into place, set it down, and then you can see it's ready to screw in. So it is a little off, so I'm gonna have to kind of pull up on the monitor a bit to thread the bottom screws. I do recommend you thread the bottom screws before you completely tighten down the top screws. Screw this one in. Whenever I tighten anything, I always go with the diagonal method, bottom diagonal, and then the top diagonal, and then tighten everything else down, just like that. Now, before I get too ahead of myself, I'm gonna move this to the middle, being careful not to scratch my table. Tighten her down, and now for this one, same ordeal. So here we go. This right here is roughly your standard setup. This is with the new monitor arms attached, and you can really see how dramatic it actually is. Like I said, this would be really good for really large monitors. 27 inches, pretty big, but 32 inches I think would be perfect for this guy. As my other one was maxed out at 27, these are 27s. This is just giving me a lot more range of motion. We could go significantly higher, especially compared to the previous one that we had. Almost, not quite, but almost to the point that we can comfortably stack them. Like I said, these are 27 inch, but if they were like 24s, stacking would be no problem at all. With this one, they just so slightly overlap, and we have to have it touching the table basically, but we just bring this one around, place it about there, adjust our bottom one, and then we technically can get some stacked displays here. Which I do have to say, this actually looks pretty good. I might stick with this, but I'm not 100% sure, because this, like I said in the beginning of the video, is how I usually have it. And you could see how easy it is for me just to kind of throw these around and move them to where I need them to go. And I do have it fairly cable managed, so all the cables are running through the little compartments and slots that we have. So bring this around, and that right there is kind of what I've been going with as of recent, but now with the extra range of motion and whatnot, I may be playing around with that some more. So it's been a couple days since I got this set up. I got my whole desk set up how I usually use it, and I'm going to give kind of my review of my experience. The first thing that is awesome is it is incredibly stable. I mean, the desk is stable too, but no amount of bumping or anything will make them kind of wiggle around. And that's helpful because it actually has the hydraulic tension on the back. So if I pull this one out real quick, for example, right here there's a little spot for an Allen, so you could kind of adjust that depending on the weight of your monitor to get it to sit and move exactly how you need it to move. Another thing that I wanted to do is, this is a 27-inch monitor. This can support a little bigger than that. So I wanted to upgrade one of these just to see how nice it is with a bigger monitor. Luckily, as we saw in the demonstration of actually getting all this set up, it is a pretty easy and straightforward process. First, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna unplug it, and it's cool because it's all already cable managed for me. Since I did that during the initial installation, I'm gonna unscrew these bottom screws. And then for the top 2 screws here, I'm just gonna loosen them just enough to be able to slide this thing off, just like that. And then I should be able to just slide her off. Ooh, right here, I got a big boy. This guy is a 32-inch monitor. I'm gonna slide it on. I already have the 2 screws on the top halfway in, so I should be able to just set it on like that. This monitor is a little different, so I have some smaller screws here. There we go, tighten it down, plug it all in. We got power, spin it on around, and look at that. Now this monitor is a little heavier, as you can see, so I need to tighten up our tension. So we're gonna go towards the plus, and now when I put it up, it's not gonna fall. And now you can see with this 32-inch, we still have more than enough room to move it around and do whatever we gotta do. Which I do really prefer a bigger monitor, especially for doing things like some video editing here. And just for how stable this thing is, for the features you get with the cable management, the tension support, the amount of weight, and the max sizes it supports, it is really a good value, especially compared to some of the competitors on the market. Overall, I'm incredibly happy, and if you get it, I know you will be as well. So with all that, there will be links down below if you're interested in picking this up, as well as links to the previous model if you don't need something that goes above 27 inches. Especially for me personally, as I'm a little taller, I like to have my desk low so I can actually ergonomically rest my arm how you're kind of supposed to. So being able to bring it up this high, for example, and actually having it properly eye level is really nice. Or of course, I could drop it way down, really do whatever I need to do with it.